I'm Zurell from the University of Potsdam, and I'm happy to introduce our ODMAP protocol for standardized reporting of species distribution models. Species distribution models are very prominent in ecology and biogeography. They're also known under different names like environmental envelopes, bioclimatic envelopes, ecological niche models, habitat suitability models, etc. All of those models nevertheless share the same workflow. What they do is that they need some form of biodiversity data, for example, in the form of presence-absence or presence-only information, and some information on environmental variables in a geographic information system, for example, on annual temperature and grassland cover. And then these data are fed into statistical algorithms. We have loads of them available here. You just see an example for logistic regression. What these algorithms are supposed to do is trying to relate the occurrence probability of the species to the prevailing environmental conditions, and that way approximate the ecological niche of the species and describing which environmental conditions allow presence of the species. And once we have established that species-environment relationship, we can project it back into geographic space, make predictions under current environments, under future environments, past environments, or into different regions. As I said, these models are super prominent. Just in the 25 years, there have been more than 27,000 publications, as you see here in the bar plot and also in these tiles. And in part, this has been like this explosion in SDM studies has been facilitated by the rapid development and the digital availability of environmental and biodiversity data, and on the other hand, really by easily accessible software tools, by loads of different R packages, but also software outside R that allow easy computation of species distribution models. They've also served as basis for conservation and policy decisions. Here you see the results of literature research carried out by Miguel Araujo and colleagues, and you see that SDMs have been used for global change research, for spatial prioritization, for evaluating habitats, or evaluating the risk of biological invasions. However, many of these modeling studies that the authors reviewed were actually inadequate for guiding policy. So they came up with a set of standards ranging from deficient to gold standards of how you do the modeling. And in the different colored lines here, you see how many of the reviewed studies fulfilled those criteria. In red, we see the median, indicating that half of the studies was basically deficient in terms of how well the modeling was carried out. But also in the top 90%, we see that at least for how the response variable and how the predictor variables are being dealt with in the models, these partially reach gold standards, but typically the model building and model evaluation is not reaching gold standards. So what the authors concluded, and which is also mirrored by a lot of other authors, is that we really need more standards in biodiversity assessments in order to promote transparency and repeatability and to ensure quality control. And this is what we want to achieve with our protocol, with ODMAP, which is a standard protocol for reporting species distribution models. So we don't say how you have to do the modeling, but we guide you in how to report the models. And that, of course, also provides a checklist for authors of what are the different things you have to think about when doing the models. And in that way, it provides a quick guide to how to do species distribution modeling. It's based on a metadata frameworks such that we use a standardized reporting language, although there's some flexibility to add new items to the dictionary. And overall, it should provide a structured format for documenting these models, and that will hopefully ease peer review, it will ease expert evaluation, and will facilitate meta-analysis. It doesn't come out of the blue, but there have been a lot of parallel developments or earlier developments. Here, an example of one of our co-authors, Feng, who came up with a checklist for maximizing reproducibility of ecological niche models or species distribution models. And you don't have to understand all the specifics of these bar plots. What is important is that they added checklist items for all the different aspects, like data filtering, data cleaning, model fitting, model assessment, etc., and then evaluated how many model studies actually report those different items. And what you see is that on average, only 50% of the studies, let's say, allow reproducibility or repeatability of the methods. Another important development for underlying ODMAP is the range model metadata standards, which provides basically a dictionary of how different aspects of the modeling should be called, because there's really a multitude of methods and for that matter also a multitude of names. And this R package really provides a common dictionary that underlines ODMAP. The protocol itself follows the main modeling steps of species distribution modeling. So starting with the conceptualization phase, then followed by data, model fitting, assessment, and predictions. So the conceptualization phase should really be described as the general specifications of the model, and all of the rest is more concerned with technical details. And first of all, we report model objectives, some specifics on taxon, location, main predictor groups, and scale, but also the conceptual underpinning, which software has been used, are the codes and data available, etc. And then we provide the technical details. All of that can be provided in a table, what we call the full ODMAP table, and that should typically be contained in the supplementary material. And that will really facilitate evaluation and meta-analysis, because you always know where to find what kind of information in the table. But also the structure of ODMAP should help you in scientific writing, because you can basically use the information that we provide in the general specification to come up with your flow text that can be in the methods and that captures the main aspects of your modeling exercise, while all of the more technical details can really just be contained in the ODMAP table in the supplementary material. This is a short version of how the ODMAP table looks like. I just want to highlight that it will look different depending on what is your model objective. So SDMs can be used for inference, for mapping, or for transfer. And this objective will determine which items you have to report in ODMAP, which you see here colored in different colors. And the other aspect that I want to highlight is really that with ODMAP, we want to encourage authors to reflect on their modeling decision. This is why we have an overview, also items where you have to justify your hypothesis and the model complexity, for example. To ease usage of ODMAP, we provide a Shiny app that you can reach via the website odmap.wsl.ch. And this Shiny app also integrates the metadata standards, the dictionary, to provide a common language. I will show you a few screenshots. So you have different tabs for the different ODMAP sections for filling in the information on overview, on data, on model, on assessment, and on prediction. You will see a progress bar that tells you how many of the items you've already filled in. And you can also download the protocol in CSV format, which I recommend, or in docx format, which will allow more formatting. And you can also view your progress in the protocol viewer. In the different protocol sections, you will find auto suggestions that are provided by the metadata dictionary. And you can also upload again previous ODMAP protocols, and that way work collaboratively on different aspects of your modeling exercise, modeling studies. You can see some examples of how this ODMAP table can look like and how it populates the different fields on the ODMAP Shiny app on our GitHub webpage that is linked on the ODMAP website. So there we have provided a few of the examples that were also included in the paper, and you can use that to learn what are different features in the Shiny app that you can use. It's important to note that, of course, that's only ODMAP 1.0. So we have taken care to get a big group of species distribution modelers to define ODMAP, but obviously it will have to grow further in a community effort because the field is super dynamic. There are new methods constantly being developed. Certainly there will also be developments in how different aspects of the modeling frame of the modeling cycle, how different standards will be defined, and hopefully this will go into ODMAP. Hopefully we will have regular updates of ODMAP and also of the underlying dictionary with the help of the scientific community. So summarizing, we really hope that ODMAP helps you or helps everyone to structure all the information necessary to repeat SDMs. So we'll really take seemingly chaotic information from all of the sections and collect them in the ODMAP protocol. And that should ease study design and science writing for the authors. It should ease peer review for reviewers, and it should ease meta-analysis for evaluators. So we really want to ensure transparency and reproducibility with ODMAP and want to facilitate higher quality in models and in assessments. We want the ODMAP also to help authors to structure their work and to get published in the end. And we also like to encourage you to provide open access to source codes and data whenever possible. Of course, we are aware that not all of the data can be published open access, but surely your codes can. And as a reminder, these standards, of course, need to be agreed upon and need to grow in a community effort, and you're all invited to help. And with that, I would like to thank you for your interest, and also thanks to my great team for helping on all of the different aspects. Thank you.